Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and I'm here to recommend some werewolf romance books. I love werewolf romances. I love shifter romances, so I need to talk about some amazing werewolf shifter romances. First one that I have is Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. This one is like the quintessential one. If you have not read this one yet, excuse the dog zoomies, by the way. I gave her a chewy treat and she is very excited because she let me clip one nail. I was able to clip one nail. I got a battle scar from it. But you know what? I gave her a chewy treat. Like, she deserves it. She let me clip one. I don't know why she's absolutely terrified of the clippers, but anyway, off on a little tangent. But Mating the Huntress is a great one. The hero of the story goes to a coffee shop one day and ends up scenting his fated mate. And it's actually the heroine at the counter who he's able to figure out is his mate. He's so excited, but he's also really nervous. He's like, oh my gosh, I have to go up and talk to her. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? And so he's kind of been like loitering around the coffee shop for a few days, trying to give up enough nerve to ask her out. What he doesn't know is that the heroine comes from a long line of werewolf hunters, and the heroine knows exactly what he is the moment he walks in, and she's like, okay, I gotta figure out how I can kill this dude, because she's always wanted to kill a werewolf because she comes from a long line of werewolf hunters, right? She's like, I'm finally gonna prove myself. So she finds the perfect opportunity to finally kill him when he asks her out on a date. And so she tries to kill him on the date, and he falls like even more in love with her. He's like, oh my gosh, my mate is so strong and capable. Like, I love this. This one is a good one. If you have not read it yet, like, you are missing out. Another one that I feel like is so popular is The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate. This one takes place in a werewolf pack, and the heroine's kind of on the lowest totem pole of the pack, and the hero is the alpha, and she figures out that the hero is her fated mate, and he rejects her very publicly. He's like, you cannot be my mate. Like, I would be able to tell you're obviously not my mate. And she is devastated. She asks the witch who lives in the forest nearby, like, hey, can you sever the mating bond? So she does just that. But on her end, the hero ends up realizing, like, something feels wrong, something feels missing, and he's like, wait a minute, I think I was wrong. I think she is my fated mate. And he goes to grovel his butt off. I love groveling romances, so I love the wolf aspects in here as well. If you want more of a sci-fi read, this is definitely a unique one. This is American Werewolf in Space. This was a book club pick for Tiffany and I's Be Me a Book Club, a book club where we read monster and alien romances. And this is a female, you can see on the cover, a female werewolf. She and a bunch of human women have been abducted from Earth from evil aliens, and she's in a cell on this spaceship, and she's like, man, these little green dudes don't know what they did by kidnapping me. They don't know that I'm a badass. And so she like shifts into this giant wolf creature and like kills the entire spaceship of like the bad dudes and saves all the human women. And she ends up going into one of like the locked areas of the ship and ends up finding an alien like locked up. That's not the same species that kidnapped her. And she takes one glimpse at him and she's like, crap, this alien dude is my mate? Like, are you kidding me? Like, she's really funny. She's a really funny heroine. And yeah, our hero is some alien dude that was kidnapped also on this spaceship, and he basically kind of like looks like Venom. So like the villain slash hero Venom from like the Marvel universe. I have a whole series, definitely the Green Creek series by TJ Klune. First one being Wolf Song. This is an MM romance series. Ox is our human character in here though, and he is a few years older than Joe, who is our wolf character. And Ox lives in this small town called Green Creek, and he is walking home one day, and this little boy walks up to him and just starts chatting his ear off. And is like, hey, you gotta come meet my family. Like, we just moved to town, like, come visit us. And Ox doesn't really talk all that much. He doesn't really know how to say no. So he goes along with him and meets Joe's entire family. What he soon realizes is that Joe comes from a family of werewolf shifters. Before that day, Joe had not spoken in over a year, I want to say, until he meets Ox walking down the street. And there's some things going on with that. This does take place like in time jumps, and they obviously don't fall in love with each other while they are children. Just putting that out there. But this is such a romantic read with werewolf shifters and a human who gets like weaved into their lives beautifully and finds solace in this werewolf pack. And it's so good. And I love the other books in the series as well. I still have to read the last book. I still have not done that yet. Like, shame on me. Her Sweet Alpha by Thayer King is another small town read. This book is basically like our world, except that we know that werewolves exist and humans are very scared of them. So the small town that this takes place in, the heroine works at a cafe there, and the hero comes in with his buddies, and he takes one whiff of his waitress and he's like, this is my fated mate. And he like tries to claim her and all that stuff, and she is terrified. She's like, I don't know anything about wolves. I don't know what you're trying to do. And so it's him trying to ease her into his life and trying to introduce her to werewolves and their culture and everything like that. And he is this ginormous man. Like, he's huge, and she's so intimidated by him. She's like, has to look up at him, and she's like, this man could break me with like a snap. But she obviously falls for him. It's definitely like big man who is a total cinnamon roll guy, but maybe not in the sheets. Maybe not in the sheets though. Okay, putting that out there. Ensnared by the Werewolf by Lillian Lark is a novella if you're interested in that. It's a rejected mate as well. I love rejected mate romances. The heroine is a witch. I think the hero has like a curse on him, so he goes to her witch shop and it's like, hey, I'd love if you could help me get rid of this curse. And they do a few sessions to try and get rid of it. They get to know each other more, and they actually end up falling in love with each other, but he rejects her and she feels like awful, and so she like runs away and he chases her. It's like kind of like a primal romance. It's a good little novella if you're interested. If you want a whole series, I recommend the Moon series by Lisa Kessler, the first book being Moonlight. This is the first werewolf shifter like adult romance series that I ever read. I think I read this back in like 2017 when I first started my channel. This first book takes place in a town where there are a bunch of animal attacks happening, and the hero and his pack are really nervous because people are going to start thinking that the werewolf pack, the few who know that they exist, like they're going to blame them, when in actuality they believe like it's a panther shifter, which panther shifters and wolf shifters are like sworn enemies, okay? He's adamant that there are panther shifters that are killing people. And so things get a little complicated when he is at dinner one night and a woman walks in and she smells like a panther shifter, but also like his fated mate. And he's like, crap. What he doesn't know though is that the heroine has no idea what she is. She blacks out at night and wakes up in the middle of the woods almost every single night. And she does not know it. She just thinks she sleepwalks. What she doesn't know is that she actually shifts into a panther and has no idea. So I really love this series. It's so fun. I think I want to do a reread soon because I haven't read these in years. That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion at a Werewolf is my next read. This one is a really long title, as you can tell. But this takes place in like a fantasy world. It's very funny, very rom-com, fantasy-esque. The heroine's at a bar with some friends and this creepy guy is hitting on her. Don't worry, it's not the hero. But he keeps on hitting on her and buys her a drink and like puts it on the table in front of her and is like, here, like, just drink your drink, like, you'll be good, like, let's go have some fun. She's like, how many times do I have to tell you no? Like, no. She gets fed up with this guy that keeps hitting on her, so she grabs the drink to turn around to throw it in his face, and the guy ducks, and the drink ends up landing on the guy behind him who was at the bar, and it's our hero, who is a werewolf. He locks eyes with the heroine and knows in an instant that is his fated mate. But then the guy who was hitting on her creepily, like, lets it slip like there was a love potion in that drink. So she's like, oh no, you're only like into me because of this love potion. Like, you don't actually love me. And he's like, no, I can feel the love potion like a little bit, but as it's nothing compared to the mating bond I feel. But she does not believe him. Like, she is like, you're only in love with me because of this potion. It'll wear off soon and then you can go on your merry way. And he's like, no, I'm gonna prove to you that you're my mate. He like goes and tracks her down where she lives, literally scratches out her name on the mailbox and puts like his last name instead, because it's like, we're together now. So next is Feral. This one is on the shorter side, and this one kind of reminds me like the wolf shifter part. He kind of looks like Remus Lupin from Harry Potter when he shifts. That's kind of what I think, but more hairy. I don't remember a lot about this one because I read this one a while ago and it's quite short, but I think the heroine has to pretend to be his fated mate at his like clan pack celebration and goes like undercover to be his mate. Because they're trying to figure out like some evil scheme that's going on or something like that. And lastly is a novella titled The Art of Avoiding Your Werewolf by Lola Glass. The heroine is part werewolf, part vampire, which are illegal creatures that exist. She was experimented on as a child with her and 2 other friends that she has. They have been in hiding for years because they don't want to be experimented on, someone to kill them, so they've been in hiding. She's working at a bakery currently, and the hero walks in and immediately knows that that's his fate of mate. She's like, crap, I guess I'm not in hiding anymore. And so things happen. It's a good little novella if you're interested. The audiobook is out for this one, so go check your Libby. That's how I listen to it. Anyways, there you have it. Those are 10 werewolf romances for you. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me a wolf emoji in the comment section down below. Oh, and also leave your recommendations because I'm always eating them. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.